Right, so I'm doing a practice run of my US30 strategy and just making a little video about it. So yeah, let's have a looky. So hopefully you can see that on the screen and hopefully my audio is working. Um, Now this is starting from the 2nd of December and this is all the trades I've taken, or most of the trades I've taken on either challenge or funded. Um, yeah, so start with the 2nd of December. My overall bias is prices going up on the 4 hour. Let me hide all that shit. Prices going up on the 4 hour. So I'll take that into consideration. It may actually want to come back down. Um, that's sort of my general look at it. Up, down, up. May want to come back down. Um, Now if we get to the 2nd of December, bear with. Fuck me. Yeah, so obviously I've pre-marked all this out to make life easier and quicker. Um, so here's 230 on a 5 minute chart. The writing will become clearer on the 1 minute. I've just shown you the 5 minute for a second. Now I normally like to see previous structure. A fair value gap is ideal, or order block, or if you've just got some nice trend in structure there and nothing really to tap into. Um, I like to look for the tops equal highs, or just if this carried on a little bit, I'd class that as liquidity to be taken, and I expect the sweep. I think price is going to go down. I expect a sweep up and then shoot down in an ideal world. So as you can see, that actually tapped that 50%. Um, Initially on the 1 minute time frame, I wanted that to be taken. Looking at it from before 230, but obviously 226 took that, and then price kept going and going and going. And I like to wait for essentially what I'm going to call like rejection. So that 230 candle bang on actually swept, and then 231 was the big rejection. That was a nice big push down. I also like if that was if this candle had came up and within the same candle shot up and then started dropping right back down to like this area, sometimes I will enter off of that as well because look how quickly that dropped for the next, you know, what, 10 minutes. That just dropped down. So if you sometimes if you're slow and go, oh no, I want to see a nice candle first, you know, this could just drop. So that's why I usually say it's a little bit gambly. But anyway, uh I always go for 30 pip stop loss, regardless of where price is. I've just done it for months now and it works. I've recently started doing 1 to 4s rather than 1 to 3s, but you'll see quite often, you know, if you were holding it, it's like 1 to 9 at least. But then that's where you do your own analysis and it's a bit slow with Zoom running. You could have said there, it's a low there to be taken. You could have said any of these lows could have been taken, that could have been taken. That's a previous 230. But to be honest, I'd rather hit a few 1 to 4s every week rather than trying to smash a 1 to 10 every day because, as you'll see, that doesn't always happen. Um, but yeah, that is that is the basics really. Find an area that you want to enter off of. Either wait for a rejection or if you're keen, set pending. You could have had a 1 to 5 if you'd have set pending on that. Um, and then yeah, let her fly. I do tend to when I get to like 1 to 2.5, 1 to 3, I sometimes move to break even, but because this dropped like a sack of shit, probably didn't even have time on the day to actually move it to break even. And I wouldn't have been worried. It's when you get to like here and it starts coming back up is when I go break even because it can come up, create a second entry, and then carry on down, or it just goes nope and fucks off up here. So yeah, you sort of take your own risks really. Um, Now if we speed on through to the next day. I mean, I don't take any notice of anything that happens in between 2:30s or after 2:30s. I might glance at it, but I personally don't trade it because I've not tested it. So, um, yeah, so here's another trade, 3rd of December. Bearish on the higher time frames, just I think. So, you know, it's not major, but it's down, coming down on this particular part of structure. Um, Down, down a bit. Um, and then what I marked here. So yesterday's 2:30 created a big bit of imbalance, um, which essentially this 2:30 swept quite, into it. Um, so this is what I was saying a second ago. There's a 2:30 candle. He's obviously gone bosh straight up through there, took what he wants to take, and then from memory, because I've got this written in my journal that I actually entered on 2:30, which usually means this is dropped down. Um, this is dropped down here, and um, shit, is this actually recording on? Fucking hope so. Yeah, that should be recorded on both screens. Yes, anyway, so that because that would have dropped down so quickly, I would have happily entered that. And obviously this time it was fine. Again, you could have held for a lot longer, 1 to 6.5 there, and might have gone down further, but 1 to 4, quite happy with that. Um, but yeah, there's nothing really technical to this strategy at all. Um, and you can look at it once a day, make money, lose money, over and done with fairly quickly. Understand. Um, right, sorry, I'm just hoping this is actually recording this trading view screen and not of me just fucking waving my finger around. Uh, Third, so we need to go to wherever this is. Ooh. So this day I didn't actually trade. I think I was just flat out working, but whether you can count this as the same zone, I don't know, but created fair value gap there on the first trade I showed you, tapped in there, and this is tapped into the same area. So, you know, I would have said that's valid. Like I say, didn't enter it, but the trade for me would have been something like that. Get on the 1 minute. 230 would have pushed in. We've had a nice rejection down here, not a massive one, but guess that's engulfing. Um, would have been good enough for me to enter on anyway. And I may or may not have been stopped out, but I'd have targeted 1 to 4. I mean, you probably could have got 1 to 5 out of that, just maybe 1 to 6, but again, didn't take the trade, and I like 1 to 4s. Um, yeah, next trade. Hourly. Bosh. Yeah, fuck it, I'll just spam that. I have gone miles back. So that's the markup. This is another area here, which may have been stop loss. Yes, this is a stop loss trade, so it's a good one to see. I probably didn't look at this properly. Um, Now, if we look on the 1 minute, uh, I entered probably at 230, judging by that, and that's probably because it took those highs and it might have stuttered a little bit around here. Um, yeah, what did I do? I think I stop loss pretty quick. Yeah, I did. So I think I had this area as my key area, and it fucked off anyway. But in hindsight, what I should have looked at is I should have either had this up here or should have just zoomed out, and because that is a bit keen. That is not very far to go on a 1 minute, really. That's just on a 230. That's, yeah, I know it's come from down here and shot up there, but yeah, it's just a bad entry for me. But obviously it liked this zone, it tapped in there, tapped in multiple times there, and then it fucks off. Um, but yeah, hey ho. I mean, you could have argued there would have been an entry there, but would never have got the 1 to 4. So yeah, don't win them all. I seriously hope this is recording this screen, trading view screen. Don't really want to talk about this all again. Right, 1 minute. So I had two entries here, one stop lost. So I don't know if I've put it, but higher time frame, higher time frame. I think this is where we start coming down, but it's sort of indecisive at the moment because I'd class that as sideways. Um, Sort of, it could go up, could go down really. We've gone way too far. Maybe not. So I think this again was a stop loss. No, this was a stop loss there, and then I actually had to take profit, an actual proper entry. But this was only a 1 to 3. Now this is all over the place. No, it's not. I haven't finished it off. This was a long trade for US 30, and for me that's a long trade. But it was a shit setup really. Um, that's where that finally tapped into something or nothing really in my eyes, because it could have tapped into anything really. But they obviously like this area. Um, but yeah, shit entry there, and then felt that it was going to sell, so I managed to get a re-entry there. Almost got stopped out, and took like hour and a bit to get over to here. But yeah, a bit of a shit trade really. So this is a bit better. Um, High time frame is actually bearish now, and this is a zone I marked for whatever reason. It's the last real. I mean, you could have marked up here because that's a fair value gap, but on the 5 minute, that's a bit of a stretch to shoot all the way up there. You'd expect it to be bullish if it's going to shoot up there, but what we got is essentially 230 swept up, come straight back down. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't enter before, to be honest, because that would have been enough confirmation for me, the fact that it shot up and come straight back down to almost a, well, that's only a third of the candle, really. But for some reason, I stayed, well, I waited and then entered out of this area. And obviously, could have got 1 to 3 fucking quick, but I always hold for 1 to 4s. That's what we had. But yeah, swept the highs, previous 5 minute high. So looking for sales, I always trade in the opposite direction to the sweep, regardless of how big the sweep is. Here and I'm like, what do you